Hello, everybody. I'm Nina Hartley, and welcome to Tuesdays with Nina. Today's question is really very interesting, and today's answer is going to be a bit long, and it concerns gender issues. The person writing is what they call an MTF, male to female transsexual. No surgery, strictly mental. So she feels mentally female and feels lesbian. So she is female in her mind and prefers to have sex with women. She was in the closet for decades and is now out to her mother, her wife, and her coworker. She's in therapy for gender issues, and she feels female in sex and lesbian. And she and her wife have sex about once a month, and the wife isn't comfortable with her sexuality. She's uncomfortable in the situation. This person has no plans to leave her wife or her kids, and needs more intimacy. And she asks, "What can I do?" Well, there is, on one level, a lot you can do, and another level, not much you can do. Obviously, yes, continue therapy for your gender issues, but also be aware and understanding and compassionate toward your wife. Your wife may be heterosexual, and so for her, having sex with someone in a female persona or being as a female just might not work for her. She may be heterosexual, and not every woman is bisexual or can be bisexual. And I don't know if she's been in therapy for her feelings around your transition and your coming out, and to really be conscious and aware and compassionate over the loss in her life and the grief that she might be feeling. There's two really big things here. There is your absolute need and right to finally live life as a person that you feel that you are, to live a life that's out and open. Absolutely very, very important. And being in the closet for years, as you know, has very damaging effects on life and relationships. On the other hand, your wife married a male-bodied person who was a man. And now that person is not there anymore. So she has lost her husband, has lost the person she thought she married, and may be experiencing difficulty working through those issues. So for her to have solo therapy with someone who is comfortable and experienced with these issues is really useful for her. So she gets support that she needs to figure out, what does she want to do? You say that you have no plans to leave her or your kids, but we don't know that about her. And she might not know that yet either. And we don't know the outcome of her search in this area. What is she going to do? And then if you can get couples counseling so you can learn to talk more about this. She has every right to be uncomfortable having sex with you because you're not the man she married. And there's a really wonderful book by a woman named Helen Boyd called "He's Not the Man I Married," and about a heterosexual woman who married the love of her life, and the love of her life turns out to be transgendered. And Helen Boyd has written also another book called "My Husband, Betty." So "She's Not the Man I Married" and "My Husband, Betty" are wonderful books. I don't know if you or your wife would be willing to read them, but they're very personal accounts from someone who's living the very thing that you're living right now, the very, very thing that you are living right this very moment without kids. And insightful and wonderful and very, very moving. And that might be support for either of you. So in terms of needing more intimacy, the intimacy you might have to deal with first is dealing with her issues about it. Intimacy is not just sexual intimacy, it's emotional intimacy. And so she needs to feel, it would be useful if she could feel she could share her grief with you, and her loss, and her anger, and her bewilderment, and her confusion, and her fear, and her, what are we going to do? How do we go from here? What do I tell my friends? What do I tell my family? What do we tell the kids? How old are they? She has a lot on her plate too. You both do. You both have a lot of personal, primal, important issues on your plate, both individually and as a couple. And so all the support you can get from outside professional help would be useful. Of course, there's going to be some anger on her part. Of course, there's going to be some grief on her part, as there was anger and grief on your part deciding to come out. So both of your journeys are very difficult. They're not what either of you expected, and there are feelings around that fact. And if we can remain compassionate to ourselves and to our partners during the difficult time, during what I call the class 5 rapids, then a new level of intimacy may well be achieved after the difficulty of going down a class 5 rapid. And we won't know what that relationship looks like. We won't know what the intimacy looks like, and we won't know what the sexuality between you is going to look like. You may end up developing a don't ask, don't tell situation where she might have to find a male-bodied lover on the side so she can go get a dose of the man thing. She gets to have that. That's only fair. And I don't know if you would be willing or able to try to find a female-bodied partner who wants a trans woman as a lover. So as you can see, many, many issues. Try to be patient with it, be open to it, be aware that relationships go in all kinds of directions, and when they don't, there's pain involved, and to be kind to each other during this really difficult period. And my heart goes out to you because you have a lot to handle, and so does she. I'm Nina Hartley. This has been Tuesdays with Nina. And you can send your questions to me, tuesdayswithnina@gmail.com, and the lovely Miss Victoria will send them on to me. Thank you so much. See you next week.